3, I'm guessing as well. So they're going to constantly be like, I don't know. It's going to be. It could turn into a little bit messy.
Yeah, I would like to see them. I think that'd be interesting. Like you said, build the whole thing, release it, or at one point just try like a full game, see how that does. Have them make season 3 be all at once. I mean, we've both been playing the Batman DLC for Arkham Origins, and I really love that. And to me, that's easier to get back into, even though the controls take a little while, just because it's Batman, it's very established, and there's not like a lot of emotional strings and like character threads that we have to remember. I mean, to be honest, with Walking Dead, it's hard for me to remember what decisions I made, last time. If I see them in front of me, oh yeah, I did that. But like, if you said, Ghost, what did you do in episode 1 of season 2? I have no idea.
Yeah,
what happened.
Stuff like the PC version runs pretty well. It runs for me. It runs 140 frames just all the time, so I have no hiccups or anything. But I've lost my save, so there's nothing I can do about it. So stuff like characters which survived in my last episode have died. Have died disappeared now, and I'm just like, come on, save my save somewhere or something. But just like, a
lot of people seem to have that issue, like the carryover of the decisions and the saves corrupting and whatnot. But something that is totally out of left field is this game Super Time Force. Do you even know what this is?
Not really. I've got a code for it, but I haven't checked it out yet.
So Super Time Force is made by Cappy Games, and they've done some really cool indie stuff. They did Critter Crunch a long time ago. They did Might and Magic Clash of Heroes, which was a fun strategy game for handhelds, and then it later came to consoles. They are the people who are making Below, which has got a lot of hype on PlayStation 4 as an indie game. But this game, Super Time Force, has been in development for a long time. I played it at PAX East in the beginning of 2013, and to try and explain it, it's basically a old school 2D side-scrolling shooter, except you can rewind time and then be a different character, except all of your characters are still carrying out their actions, which gets so... It sounds confusing, but it's absolutely epic once it really clicks with you, because you'll have one character, say a heavy gunner, go through the level, and he'll die, and then you can rewind time and maybe bring back a faster character that can shoot through walls, and now you have 2 people simultaneously going through the level, assisting each other as they're working through, and it's a lot of fun.
It sounds very confusing when you explain it, but I'm sure it sounds very interesting. I'd like to see when
it's a nice twist on, retro is kind of a big thing. People like to do that, and I think it nails the control side of things and nails sort of that, okay, get into this level for 5-10 minutes, boom, you're done, and kind of that bite size, real fun, real intense, a little bit bullet hellish. There's a lot of action on the screen, but because you have multiple characters, basically picture it like this. Do you ever play Super Meat Boy?
Yes, I did. No, it's hard.
Yes, it is
stressful.
Very stressful and hard. You know, at the end of the level, it would show all the little Meat Boys going through the stage?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this game is just like that, except those characters, their actions still exist. So, like, if your guy shot a robot, that robot will be shot by your past life. So it's basically like co-op with yourself over and over and over.
That sounds really weird.
Again, because you can go back in time and do this sometimes 30 times a level. So you may have 30 different versions of yourself playing through the level, all kind of culminating, in beating the level, everybody together. And there's a bunch of characters you can collect along the way, so you're always adding new options. It's a really cool game. It's got a totally goofy storyline that I'm not really a fan of when games get too goofy. That's kind of, like they get over the top and immature, but this one kind of straddles that line really nice of being fun and silly and hilarious, but not too much. It's a really cool game. It's Xbox One, 360, and I would definitely
Microsoft
say
Microsoft consoles then.
Yeah, it's a Microsoft exclusive, but there's no reason why it's better on next gen at all. The graphics are incredibly simplistic. Yeah, it's basically pretty simple. Have you been playing anything else this week? I know it's slow.
Just Batman and Spider-Man. So I've been playing the first Batman game on my channel. That brings back so many memories. That game was so fun to play, and I love this sort of more constrained environment of the Asylum. Just works so well, and the Joker's so good in this game.
That year was such a great year too.
Oh yeah. What else came out that year? Was it
Wasn't that Batman, Uncharted 2, and Assassin's Creed 2? Like, ridiculous.
I think it was that, yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. The other thing I've been playing, that's not a continuation, I beat Dark Souls 2, which is like victory extreme for me. Now I've beat Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2. That's probably my favorite gaming accomplishment, to be honest with you, is beating those 2 games. I will say that the ending was incredibly disappointing. Like, for a game that is so brutal, so difficult, so time-consuming, it just sort of, like, poops out at the very end and nothing. Like,
did anyone say in the comments anything about that? Because I didn't understand. Like,
I was reading through, and like Dark Souls is lauded for how subtle it is, and then all the stories and the item descriptions, and it's really, it's not in your face. You have to dig deep if you want, and I appreciate that. I think that's cool, but ultimately, the ending does fulfill sort of the cycle of the storyline, but there's no reward. It's not like you get a massive amount of souls. It's not like you get a new character or a new level opens up. And I don't know. You know how a lot of games these days are dropping us back into the world? Infamous Second Son just plops you back in the world. I almost wonder if that takes away from the ending, because it's like, hey, nothing happened.
It does a little bit, but I don't know. Perhaps if they can work into saying, I don't know, if like a building exploded, that's exploded, and I don't know, it's doing like, I think it just extends the value, and I think developers get a little bit scared of, like, obviously trading in games and stuff, so they have to sort of push that, like, DLC stuff and the sort of after completion stuff, so all the side stuff as well. So I think that's what they do. It does make sense. I don't mind that. I mean, stuff like, was it Fallout 3? I think they've done that with. I think it's Fallout 3. They just capped the game off, and that made no sense, because obviously you want to go back and play the side stuff. So it can work in 2 ways. Sure,
and I understand it fully. Like, there's a bunch of New Game Plus content for Dark Souls, and a lot of people are saying like that's where the real glory, is to be found. But I just wanted maybe even like a world-changing event, like the sun comes up, or I don't know, something that signified like I beat the game. Like, I beat probably 50 bosses along the way, and all I get is a tiny cutscene, and I'm dumped back in the world. So that was a little underwhelming.
Yeah. Dark Souls doesn't really seem like a game that I'd want to play twice as well, honestly. Yeah. And it'd be harder as well. Yeah.
The hardcore fans definitely love that.
Oh, yeah.
But for me, like, the accomplishment of beating it, I feel like a lot of that would go away doing it again. Because so much of it is, like, in the moment, the stress of, like, fighting this boss and going to town on all these difficult enemies. It was still a great game. I think it is improved over Dark Souls 1. And I'm glad that I stuck it out. The last thing I'll mention briefly is Sports Friends. I'm not going to talk about it really that much. You can check it out on my channel. PS4 and PC, I think, later this month, I want to say.
Is that ever going to be online? 'Cause I really
no, it's local only, which is a little